Good morning, dear Sangha. Good morning, dear friends. Today is October the 12th, 2013, and we are in the Deer Park Monastery for our second day of the retreat, finding our true home. This morning we hear the sutra on the better way to be alone. There are many sutras on that subject, how to live alone. Because in the time of Buddha, he encouraged the monks to practice solitude, to live alone. But that does not mean that he wanted us to abandon society, abandon friends, and so on. So there was a monk who misunderstood the teaching. So he tried to do everything alone. He went to the arm round alone. He walked, he did walking meditation alone. He sat down and eat alone. He practiced sitting meditation alone. He tried to avoid other monks and so on. He really try hard to be alone. And other monks saw that there is something wrong in that kind of behavior, because the monk seems to be proud of the fact that he was able to practice living alone. So some of the monks went to the Buddha and reported that there is such a monk who practiced like that, and who claimed to be practicing the Buddha's teaching on solitude. So that day the Buddha asked his attendant to call that monk. We don't know the name of that monk, because in the sutra they refer to him as Thera. Thera means the venerable. I think they don't want to record his name. And when the monk Thera came, the Buddha asked him to sit down and asked him whether he liked to practice living alone. And he said yes. The Buddha said, how do you do it? Please tell us. So the monk said that, well, I went to the village and for the arm round alone. I don't go with other monks. I eat my lunch alone. I practice sitting meditation alone. I do walking meditation alone. I wash my clothes alone. I try to do everything alone. The Buddha said that yes, you are practicing to be alone, but I have another way of living alone that is much better, and I will tell you. After that, he taught the sutra on the better way to live alone, because there are ways to live alone better than the way that monk did. And to live alone means not to have a second person in you. And that second is maybe the object of your desire, the object of your craving, the idea of happiness you have. To live alone is to be completely satisfied with the here and the now, and you are not looking for anything else. You go back to the present moment, and you recognize that happiness is possible there in that moment. Joy, peace, love, Everything is possible in the present moment. And you don't need to run anymore searching for something. And that is the true teaching of aimlessness. You do not put in front of you an object and run after that. Whether that is a fame or profit, social recognition, or sensual pleasures. And to live alone means you have the first sense of fulfillment. You can be happy right in the here and the now. Because there are so many conditions of happiness that are already available, and you don't need to run into the future searching for more conditions of happiness. So we have to understand the teaching of the Buddha on that sutra in that light, and not practice like the other monk, try to avoid people. Even if you go to the mountain and stay alone, but you still have, you still long for something, you still search for something, you are not alone. This morning when I climb with you on the hill, I practice arriving with every step, and I have arrived is the deepest kind of practice, the most beautiful Dhamma talk that you can give. It means that every breath helps you to arrive in the here and the now with satisfaction and fulfillment. And every step helps you to arrive in the here and the now. And you can feel a sense of fulfillment, happiness. You don't need to run anymore to search for something else. In this practice, we know that enlightenment, happiness, joy, the kingdom of God, the pure land of the Buddha are all available in the here and the now. You need only to wake up in order to touch the happiness, to touch peace, to touch the kingdom of God, to touch the pure land of the Buddha in the here and the now. Doing walking meditation, we might begin by making 3 steps while breathing in, and you may say, "I have arrived." And if you do well, and then you can arrive with every step. You arrive in the here and the now with every step. But that is a challenge, because we all have the habit of running, and that habit of running may have been transmitted to us by our parents, our ancestors. The habit of running. And that habit is born from the belief that happiness is not possible now and here. You have to go into the future and search for more conditions of happiness. And since it has become a habit, it is pushing us. Even if we don't want to run, we still run. And that is why we need a kind of insight in order to really stop the running. Every time the habit, energy of running manifests, we must recognize it. Hello there, my habit energy of running, I know you. And if you can recognize the habit, and then it cannot push you anymore. That is the practice of recognizing. You, with mindfulness, you recognize your habit. And we have so many kinds of habits that push us to do and to say things that we don't want to do or to say. And intellectually, we know very well that doing such a thing will create suffering to us and to the other person. Saying such a thing will cause suffering to us and to the other person. And yet, when the moment comes, we still say it, we still do it. And create suffering for us and for the other person. And then we regret. We said, how come that I already know that I should not say something like that, that I should not do something like that, and yet I still do it, I still say it. And you conclude that the habit energy is stronger than you. And that is why the practice of mindfulness is to recognize the habit energy. There was a young American man who came to Plum Village and stayed in the upper hamlet. And he was surrounded with monks and lay people who practice mindfulness of walking or breathing. And one day he was asked to go to the market to do some shopping, because we were celebrating Thanksgiving Day. And as he is an American citizen, he will try to make some kind of cake, American way to place on the altar of ancestors for Thanksgiving. So he went alone to do some shopping. And during the time he was alone, he was not supported, embraced by the collective energy of mindfulness. So he lost his mindfulness. Suddenly became the habit energy took over. He was trying to do things quickly in order to go home. And suddenly he recognized it. He recognized that the habit of energy of running, of trying to be in a hurry, to finish as soon as possible, in order to do other things, manifest. And that is what he recognized. Because he had already practiced a few weeks in the upper hamlet of Plum Village, that is why he was able to recognize that habit. And he also recognized that that habit energy came from his mother, because his mother is always like that, always in a hurry, trying to finish things as quickly as possible. So he recognized the energy of habit energy, and he said, "Hello, Mommy, I know you are there." And then he was himself again. The habit energy transmitted to him by his mother could not push him anymore, so he practiced mindful breathing, mindful walking, and then finished his shopping and went home. And he told us the story. So every one of us has a habit energy that is pushing us to do, to say things that can create suffering. And the practice of mindfulness helps us to recognize the habit. You don't have to fight the habit. You don't have to suppress the habit. You just smile to it. "Hello, my dear old friend. I know you. I know your name." The habit energy. And then it will lose its strength, and it cannot push you anymore to do, to say things that you don't want to do and don't want to say. If we do not practice, and then next time when the situation happens, we do it again, and we say it again, even if we don't want to do and to say it. And then if you have a co-practitioner, a brother or a sister in a practice, and that person may help you when the moment comes and triggering that kind of habit energy, and that friend can tell you, dear friend, be aware that habit energy is coming. So you have a supporter, and you can be free from that habit energy until we have got a better habit, the habit of being mindful of what is happening in ourselves. Every time anger manifests, every time irritation manifests, every time worry manifests, with mindfulness we can recognize them and smile to them, and they will lose their strength and cannot push us to do the things that can create suffering for us and for the other person. So practicing walking meditation is creating a new habit, a good habit of enjoying every step. Every step can help you go home to the here and the now. And that should be supported by some kind of insight. Mindfulness is one energy. Concentration is another energy. And insight is the third kind of energy. These three energies are generated by the practice. And they have the power to heal, to transform. Mindfulness is the energy that helps us to know, to be aware of what is going on. Mindfulness is always mindfulness of something. When you breathe, and if you know that you are breathing, and then that is mindfulness of breathing. And the only object of your mind at that time is your in-breath or out-breath. And when anger manifests, and if you are aware that anger is manifesting, and that is mindfulness of anger. There is anger as an energy, but also there is mindfulness of another kind of energy. And this energy of mindfulness recognize the energy of anger and embrace it tenderly. No fighting, no suppressing. And when you are mindful of something, suppose I'm mindful of this flower, very mindful of the presence of the flower. And then concentration is born. As I'm mindful of the flower, I am concentrated on it. So the flower is object of mindfulness and object of concentration. So we know that the energy of mindfulness carries within itself the energy of concentration. Where there is mindfulness, there is the beginning of concentration. If you are very mindful and you begin to be concentrated. And with mindfulness and concentration, we can make a breakthrough and get the insight. And that insight has the power to heal and to transform us. And that insight does not need a lot of time to come, provided that mindfulness and concentration are powerful enough. Suppose I breathe in mindfully with concentration, I can see very, very easily that I am alive. Because I know that someone who is already dead does not breathe in anymore. It's so simple. That breathing in, you know you got the insight that you are alive. And to be alive is something. It's a miracle. It's the greatest of all miracles. So when you breathe in and touch the truth that you are alive, joy can be born right away. And when you breathe out, you can already celebrate the fact that you are alive. And that is a very simple exercise. Breathing in, I know I am alive. Breathing out, I smile, I enjoy life. I celebrate life in me and around me. Sometimes we want to release the tension in our body. The willingness to release the tension is there, but sometimes we cannot release. It's not because you want to relax that you can relax. Because being tense may have become a habit energy already. I remember that time when I was sitting on a bus with a friend who organized a trip for me in India to talk to the community of untouchables. I went a little bit everywhere and gave Dhamma talk and days of mindfulness and retreats for them. We were sitting in the bus and I saw him very tense. He's sitting just on my right and I was contemplating the beautiful landscape of India. And I looked back, I saw him very tense. I said, dear friend, I know that you care very much about my well-being here, but I'm fine, I'm very joyful, I'm very happy now, so please don't worry. Sit back and enjoy your breathing. And he said, yes. He sit back, and I continue to enjoy the vegetation, the hills, the mountains in India. But when I look back, I saw him tense again. So that is the habit. Be a member of the untouchable community. You have suffered many thousand years. You want to fight in order to get out of that situation. So the habit energy of striving, of fighting has been transmitted by several generations of ancestors. It's not that if you want to stop it, you can stop it right away. You need training, some training. So walking meditation is a way to train us to live deeply every moment of our daily life and enjoy every moment that is given to us to live. 1 hour has 60 minutes, 1 minute has 60 seconds, and every second, every minute is a jewel. And yet we don't profit from them. We allow anger and fear and worries to take over, and we do not have the capacity to enjoy the minutes and the seconds that are given us to live. And that is why walking meditation is a very effective way in order for us to learn how to come back to the present moment and live deeply every moment of our daily life. So when I begin in front of the meditation hall, I took one in breath and I make 3 steps. I have arrived, I have arrived, I have arrived. And because I have practice, I have the habit of practice, I can arrive 100% with each step. That's a good habit. If you are a beginner in the practice, you might challenge yourself. You go alone in one place and you practice slow walking meditation. You breathe in and you take only one step. And you try to arrive in the here and the now with only one step. You might arrive only 20%, 40%. That's not enough. And you are not satisfied with that. So you don't take another step. You just stay in that position and breathe out and breathe in again. This time you may arrive 60% or 70%. But if you are not satisfied, don't make another step. Just stay in that position and breathe in again and try to arrive again 100%. And you don't need someone or a Buddha to tell you whether you have arrived 100%. You know it. And when you have arrived 100%, and then you should smile, a smile of victory, and make another step. And that is a slow walking meditation. You can begin by yourself alone, because if you do that in the crowd, you create So I begin with 3 steps. I have arrived. And I enjoy every step. Because when you have already arrived, you touch the wonders of life. First of all, your body. And then Mother Earth. And each step like that can nourish you and heal you. And help nourish Mother Earth and heal Mother Earth also. Because we are part of Mother Earth. Mother Earth is inside of us. And that is going back to our source. You go back to the source with every breath and every step. And when I breathe out, I make 5 steps. Because usually our out-breath is longer than our in-breath. So the rhythm I use is 3-5. I have arrived, I'm home. And I enjoy home. My home is in the here and the now. And that is the meaning of the teaching this morning. The sutra on the better way to be alone. You touch your true home with every moment. You don't have to go and look for your true home. Your true home is in every step. Because the past is already gone, the future is not yet there. There's only one moment where life is really available, and that is the present moment. And touching the present moment, you touch the here, and you touch all the wonders of life. And you touch the kingdom of God. You touch the pure land of the Buddha. I have found out that the kingdom of God is available on earth. And you don't need to go anywhere. Spiritually, you don't need to die in order to go to the kingdom. You have to be very alive. And in order to be alive, mindful breathing is very helpful. When you focus your attention on your in-breath and breathe in, You bring your mind home to your body. Because usually in our daily life, our body may be there, but our mind is not there. Locked in the past or in the future or in our projects and worries. Lost in our attempt to do something. When you spend 2 hours with your computer, you completely forget that you have a body. And when body is not with mind, you are not truly there in the here and the now and live your life. That is why a bell of mindfulness helps you to go home and touch again life and all the wonders. And that is the kingdom of God. This flower, to me, it belongs to the kingdom of God. And with enough mindfulness and concentration, you can touch the kingdom of God in the flower. It belongs to the kingdom. And your body is a flower. Your body belongs to the kingdom of God. It's a wonder. We need to wake up in order to recognize our body is also part of the kingdom. It can speak to you about the kingdom. And you don't need to die or to go somewhere in order to see the kingdom. The kingdom is available. The problem is whether we are available to the kingdom. And in order to make ourselves available to the kingdom, the practice of mindfulness is helpful. If you come from a Christian background, you know that in the gospel, the teaching of mindfulness is available also. In the gospel, according to Matthew, St. Matthew, he said that you should not worry about future. Let the future take care of itself. You take care of the present moment. Go back to the here and the now, and you have the kingdom. You have peace and happiness. And if we do it correctly, and then we enjoy every step, it's not hard labor, it's enjoyment. Walking meditation is an enjoyment. Remember one day someone from Le Monde, the daily newspaper Le Monde, came to Plum Village, and we invited him to join us in walking meditation. He suffered a lot. Because we went slowly and we enjoyed every step. And he was not capable of slowing down and enjoy every step. While all of us enjoy every step and find it nourishing and healing, he suffered very much because he is not used to walk in that way. He can only run. And that is why he reported to us that the walk is exhausting. Exhausting. But in fact, if we know how to do walking meditation, every step is nourishing, relaxing, making us stronger. So it depends on the way we walk. And it is not hard labor. It is a joy to walk. You walk in the kingdom of God. The kingdom is there, and we should learn how to enjoy the kingdom with our breath and with our steps. We coordinate our breath, our breathing with our walking. You might begin with 2 steps while breathing in. I have arrived, I have arrived. And then when you breathe out, you make 3 steps. I'm home, home, home. And later on, you may like to change it into 3, 5, provided that the number of steps make you happier. You have to listen to your lungs, how many steps they want you to make while breathing in. And when you begin to climb the hill, naturally the number of steps will diminish from 4, 6, become 3, 5. From 3, 5 it may come 2, 3. Use that kind of rhythm that fit you the most. That's the way I feel. And there are moments sitting on the mountain, because the day after tomorrow you will climb on the mountain. I will sit there and breathe, and your in-breath may last 6 seconds, and your out-breath may last 9. And sometimes it can come up to 10 and 15, and you always enjoy. You don't make any effort. You should not make any effort. Just the number of steps, of seconds that make you happiest. It's not that a long in-breath is better than a shorter in-breath. Whether it is long or short, the essential is that it makes you happy, it makes you comfortable. So the practice should be pleasant. And when you enjoy the practice of walking or breathing, and then the practice will begin to heal you and to nourish you. And very often I use words to replace the number. Like 1, 2, 3, I say, I have arrived. I have arrived. I am home, home, home. And this is not a oral declaration. It is a realization. You must practically feel that you are at home. Your home is in the here and the now. Your true home. Because in your true home, you find your ancestors, your children, your grandchildren, your future. You find the kingdom of God. When the bell of mindfulness sounds, every one of us should stop talking and thinking, because the thinking takes us away from the here and the now. And you begin to breathe in, and we say, I listen, while breathing in. And then when you breathe out, you say, this wonderful sound brings me back to my true home. And 3 times. And we can enjoy deeply our in-breath and out-breath. And we breathe in such a way, we listen to the bell in such a way that peace and joy can penetrate into every cell of our body. Deep listening. We know that our parents and our ancestors are fully present in every cell of our body. They have not died as we believed. No. They are still alive. They are fully present in every cell of our body. So when you listen to the bell and breathe in, you invite all the cells in your body to join you in listening. And together with the cells, all your ancestors of many generations to join you in listening. And you become a we. You are a community of cells. You are the continuation of your ancestors. So it's better to say, we listen. We listen. This wonderful sound brings us back to our true home. And we breathe in such a way that the energy of mindfulness, peace, and joy can penetrate into every cell of our body. And our ancestors can smile and feel that kind of freedom and happiness in us. Maybe our father, our mother have not got the chance to practice deep, peaceful breathing like that, walking like that. So we are doing it for our father, our mother. Because our lungs, we believe that it's our lungs, but that is also the lungs of our mother and our father. Invite our father, our mother to breathe in with our lungs, because these are also their lungs. And while walking, you can invite your father to use your feet and to enjoy walking. Father and son enjoy making a step. Father and daughter enjoy making a step, and your heart will be filled with love. We walk together. When you make a peaceful, joyful, happy steps, all your ancestors do it with you at the same time. That is the real thing. That's the reality. Because we do not have a separate self. If we remove ancestors from us, there is no us left. So I often invite my father, my mother, my ancestors walking with me. I invite my teacher and the Buddha walking with me, and I never feel separated from them. Because I am continuation of my ancestors, spiritual ancestors and blood ancestors. Wherever I go, they go with me. So walking meditation can be very deep, and listening to the bell can be very deep. You listen in such a way that all your ancestors are listening at the same time with you, and you bring peace and joy into every cell of your body. And that make it easier for our body to heal and to be nourished.